Good day and welcome to NoorNews. Today, we track rising tensions in the Gulf as Iran issues a stern warning to its neighbors, while rescue efforts intensify in Ukraine following a devastating strike on a shopping mall. Let's begin with the latest on the escalating trade war. Canada has officially announced a series of retaliatory tariffs against the United States, marking a significant escalation in ongoing bilateral trade tensions. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stated that his government is acting reluctantly, characterizing the move as a necessary response to what he described as an unprovoked trade war initiated by the Trump administration. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, the Canadian government's decision follows the imposition of fresh tariffs by Washington, which Ottawa has labeled an attack on its domestic economy. The Prime Minister emphasized that Canada remains committed to defending its national interests while navigating the complexities of North American trade relations. Analysts suggest that this development signals a deepening rift between the two neighbors, as both nations prepare for the potential economic fallout of these reciprocal measures. The Canadian government maintains that its actions are strictly defensive, aimed at offsetting the impact of the American levies on its steel and aluminum sectors. As the situation evolves, international observers are closely monitoring whether these trade barriers will lead to further protectionist policies or if a diplomatic resolution can be reached to stabilize the cross-border market. The retaliatory measures are expected to take effect immediately, impacting a wide range of imported American goods. Saudi Arabia has officially set a 90-day limit for privately owned vehicles registered in other Gulf Cooperation Council countries to remain within the kingdom. According to the Saudi Gazette, the Zakat, Tax and Customs Authority, in coordination with the Ministry of Interior, has approved new executive procedures that restrict such vehicles to a cumulative stay of 90 days within any 365-day period. These regulations, which carry fines of up to 2,000 Saudi riyals for non-compliance, are scheduled to take effect on August 26, 2026. The policy applies to private vehicles registered in a GCC member state that are owned by Saudi citizens, residents, or premium residency holders, as well as vehicles authorized for use by these individuals upon entry through customs ports. For vehicles already present in the kingdom when the rules go into effect, authorities have granted a 90-day grace period to allow owners to regularize their status. This transition window will run from August 26 through November 23, 2026. Officials from Zatka and the General Directorate of Traffic confirmed that these measures are intended to standardize the regulatory framework for cross-border vehicle movement within the Gulf region, ensuring consistent oversight of non-Saudi registered private transport operating within the kingdom's borders. Tehran has issued a stern warning to its Gulf neighbors, cautioning them against cooperating with the United States in what Iranian officials describe as an ongoing economic war. According to Al Jazeera, Iranian leadership stated that any regional state facilitating U.S. efforts to isolate or pressure the Islamic Republic will be viewed as an adversary. Tehran explicitly warned that it would consider such cooperation a hostile act, threatening to target the interests of any neighboring country that aligns with Washington's economic policies. This development marks a significant escalation in rhetoric, as Iran seeks to deter regional partners from participating in U.S.-led sanctions or economic containment strategies. The warning follows months of heightened tensions regarding maritime security and regional influence, with Tehran signaling that its patience for regional alignment with Western economic pressure is reaching a critical threshold. Analysts suggest this move is intended to pressure Gulf states into maintaining neutrality, effectively creating a buffer against the impact of U.S. sanctions. While the threat remains largely diplomatic at this stage, the explicit nature of the warning underscores the volatility of regional relations. Tehran has indicated that it reserves the right to respond proportionally to any perceived participation in what it terms an economic war against the Iranian people. Swedish authorities have confirmed that a 17-year-old girl was the victim killed in a sword attack at a school in Sweden. Police officials released the update following an investigation into the incident, which also left two other students, aged 12 and 17, injured. The victims were transported to local medical facilities for treatment, though specific details regarding their current conditions have not been disclosed by hospital staff. According to reports from Swedish law enforcement and verified news sources covering the tragedy, an 18-year-old suspect has been taken into custody in connection with the assault. The suspect is currently being held as investigators work to establish a motive for the violence. The school remains closed while forensic teams process the scene and provide support services to the affected students and faculty members. This incident has prompted a broader national discussion regarding school safety protocols and the regulation of weapons within educational environments. Authorities have stated that the investigation is ongoing and further details will be provided as they become available. The community is currently mourning the loss of the student, with local officials calling for calm as the legal process against the detained suspect begins. Tensions between Washington and Tehran have escalated following the latest announcement from the United States regarding a new round of economic sanctions. According to Al Jazeera, the Iranian government has formally rejected the move, characterizing the policy as a continuation of failed maximum pressure tactics that undermine regional stability. Tehran's foreign ministry stated that these measures will not alter its strategic trajectory, asserting that the Iranian economy has already adapted to long-standing restrictions. The U.S. administration maintains that the sanctions are necessary to address concerns regarding Iran's ballistic missile program and its influence in the Middle East. Analysts suggest that this development marks a significant setback for potential diplomatic engagement, as both nations remain entrenched in their respective positions. While the White House claims the sanctions are narrowly targeted to avoid humanitarian impact, Iranian officials argue that the measures disproportionately affect the civilian population by complicating access to essential goods. As international observers monitor the situation, the lack of a clear pathway for renewed negotiations continues to fuel uncertainty across the Gulf. Both parties have signaled that they are prepared for a prolonged period of economic friction, with no immediate signs of a breakthrough in the diplomatic impasse. Rescue operations are intensifying at the site of a shopping mall in Ukraine, following a missile strike that has resulted in at least 16 confirmed deaths. According to the BBC, emergency crews are currently digging through the wreckage in search of 4 individuals who remain missing. The Friday attack has left approximately 130 people injured, a figure that includes a significant number of children who were inside the facility at the time of the impact. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has publicly condemned the strike, labeling the military action as a despicable act against civilians. The incident has drawn international attention as recovery teams continue to navigate the unstable debris of the structure. While local authorities work to clear the site, the BBC reports that the search and rescue efforts are being hampered by the extent of the structural collapse. The strike on the commercial center marks one of the most significant recent escalations in the conflict, with casualty numbers expected to fluctuate as the search continues into the coming hours. International observers are monitoring the situation closely as the humanitarian toll of the ongoing hostilities continues to rise, particularly in areas where civilian infrastructure has been directly impacted by recent aerial bombardments. A Japanese man has sparked international concern after reportedly abandoning his 7-year-old son alone on Mount Fuji to continue his hike. According to the BBC, the incident occurred during a family excursion involving the man and his 2 young sons. Authorities state that the father decided to press on toward the summit despite the younger child becoming fatigued and unable to maintain the pace. The man allegedly left the boy behind on the mountain trail, intending to retrieve him after completing his ascent. The child was later discovered by other hikers who alerted local mountain rescue teams. While the boy was found safe and unharmed, the incident has prompted a stern response from local officials regarding mountain safety protocols and parental responsibility in high-altitude environments. Mount Fuji is known for its challenging terrain and rapidly shifting weather conditions, which can pose significant risks to unprepared or unsupervised individuals. Police are currently investigating the circumstances surrounding the decision to leave the child unattended in such a remote area. This case has reignited public discourse in Japan concerning the necessity of strict safety guidelines for families trekking on the country's most iconic peak, as rescue services continue to emphasize the importance of group cohesion during high-altitude climbs. Thank you for joining us for this verified report on today's global headlines. We remain committed to bringing you the facts you can trust. NoorNews, verified before published.